The presidential election has been a whirlwind, a whirling dervish of a week, from voter fraud to voter suppression, from the President of the United States calling the whole election a fraud.
In a stunning display from a sitting president, Donald Trump unleashing a barrage of false claims of fraud and corruption.
To recounts in Georgia, to the most insane graphics packages anyone's ever seen in the history of American television. It's hard to know where to start.
This is America.
White supremacist, racist, misogynist, sexist, bigot. These are all terms that were commonly used by the left to describe an American president without precedent. A man who was simply prepared to do whatever he wanted, whatever it took, in his mind, to break an already failing system. And as some commentators on Fox News put it, nothing will ever be the same again.
If you're a Trump supporter, you gotta feel good. You won. The guy broke the system. He broke the mold. He broke the media. He broke the pollsters. He broke the entire political machinery. Nothing is ever going to be the same. You're never going to see the same thing after Trump, unless it's Trump.
The realities of what's taken place in the American election show that our perspective on Donald Trump has to shift. People are already talking about Trumpian politics becoming a norm, but what is it and why does it matter here?
The Trumpist Republicans want the GOP to be a more populist party. They believe in economic nationalism, meaning America should withdraw from the world stage and put up trade barriers. They oppose Paul Ryan-style fiscal conservatism and condemn costly military interventions like Bush's invasion of Iraq.
It's not as easy as simply saying that everyone who was black didn't like Donald Trump.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
The black community is not a monolith.
Just in the same way the Democrats made the mistake of thinking that everyone who was Latino would vote for them. It makes no sense that a man described as the biggest misogynist of all time, who literally talked about women being grabbed by the pussy.
Grab him by the pussy, grab him by the pussy, grab him by the pussy, grab him by the pussy.
Why did 3% more white women vote for him this time than the time before? What's been shown is that the American First policy had huge resonance.
It's about the economy. He provided jobs. Okay, jobs added 4 million. Under Biden and Obama, negative 2.8
What is the website you're on?
I don't know.
I will not live under a socialist government.
In real terms, American wages have gone down by 25% since 1975. And Donald Trump said that he had the answers.
I'm going to bring back millions of jobs.
The American dream, the idea that you can become anything you want to be, is based on the idea that hopefully one day you will be stinking rich. And that's what Donald Trump always was. A stinking rich, aspirational celebrity man.
I'm really rich. I just sold an apartment for $15 million to somebody from China. I don't need it.
Who turned the realities of public discourse into a reality game show and replaced detail and policy with light entertainment and incredibly clippable, shareable content.
Big fan, Donald. All right, quick selfie.
We're getting a selfie, Jim.
Absolutely fantastic. Look at that, Barney. A real gentleman. Donald, can I just ask, is this a good time to ask for your daughter's hand in marriage?
Don't ever underestimate the power of the entertainer. So this New York socialite, this billionaire playboy, this real estate magnate, the man whose name's on your steak knives, the ones that you use for Thanksgiving, that man becomes president of the United States. But his political career started at the beginning of the game show, the populist Hollywood utopian nightmare that became Donald Trump's America and is summed up by the absolutely vitriolic and obsessive QAnon believers.
Let me ask you about QAnon. It is this theory that Democrats are a satanic pedophile ring and that you are the savior of that. Now, can you just once and for all state that that is completely not true and that disavow QAnon in its entirety?
I know nothing about QAnon.
I just told you.
I know very little. You told me, but what you tell me doesn't necessarily make it fact. I hate to say that. I know nothing about it.
People who are creating narratives that are so exciting because fiction is sexier than fact. These people have weaponized doubt, and billions of pounds, rubles, and dollars has been spent psychographically targeting people who are potential slip voters, people who haven't decided, people who are living in states where they can make a massive difference. Now, that might seem fanciful to you and I, but if you just look through the rabbit hole, if you just look at any of Fox News' real comment pieces in the last 48 hours, you know that that side of America has become even more empowered.
We're at the beginning of the second presidential campaign of 2020. And therefore, I think you're going to see an explosion of rage over the next few weeks.
If they manage to succeed, how powerful is Donald Trump in the next 2 and 4 year periods?
Well, look, President Trump is going to be forced, exactly like Andrew Jackson and Abraham Lincoln. He either has to fight and protect America, or he has to surrender to corrupt forces, starting with the Biden family corruption, spreading out to the corruption of the Democratic machines, going on to the corruption of places like the New York Times.
We were told that Joe Biden would lead a blue wave, that this would be a repudiation of Trumpian reality. It's been anything but. In fact, what it's shown is that this term populism is completely outdated. This is the new normal. The idea that policy matters is a joke. You think Trump's going to shut up? You think reporters are going to stop reporting what the former president said? We're dealing with a new normal, a normal where the American president questioned the reality and the validity of the entire process of governing.
Give the ball to someone else. Give the ball to someone else. Give the ball to someone else. Give it to someone else. Give it to someone. Here. No, don't do that. Here you go. Thank you. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. You're the president of the United States. Let's go.
And sure, if you watch the BBC or CNN, maybe you're being told that it's ridiculous. But even on Fox News, when most commentators were standing against him, some people weren't taking it lying down.
And that, I guess they're being asked to provide evidence for something that they say they weren't able to even participate in or to be able to see.
It's just not true.
The presidential election has been a globally exhausting experience. Dispiriting, hard to watch, harder to swallow, with the threat very real to the lives of people doing the basic grunt work, counting votes, running voting stations, often against most of their own partisan interests. Donald Trump spent most of the evenings after the election actually emailing his supporters to come out on the street, demanding that they helped put money into his defense fund and that they literally rose up. American politics has never been so factious. No one in the world has ever been this exhausted, and it's not even all over yet. But wherever it goes, we'll be by your side. We'll see you next week.
Congressman John Lewis, before his passing, wrote, "Democracy is not a state, it is an act." And what he meant was that America's democracy is not guaranteed. It is only as strong as our willingness to fight for it.